Hello and welcome to our presentation on the Royal DSM Case Study. This presentation has been created by Ali, Chantel, Christopher, and Noreen. Let's take a look at the agenda for today's presentation. We'll start with a review of the information presented in the case study, then we'll answer the following questions. What challenges and opportunities do senior executives at DSM face in the year 2000? What challenges and opportunities does the newly hired CIO face when he assumes his position in year 2000? And how should Band & Handberg position IT as a strategic asset and organize and govern the IT function? Then we'll summarize our ideas in a conclusion. DSM has focused on various different product offerings during its 100-year history. The company was formed in 1902 and mining coal was its first business. They then expanded into chemical production and later into the plastics business. The last couple decades of the 20th century saw restructuring, product expansion, and strategy change. The new millennium brought with it another chance for change and expansion.
On the next two slides, I will be discussing the challenges and opportunities that DSM senior executives faced in the year 2000. The first challenge that I noted was that DSM had to make acquisitions in areas they had little experience in. This goes in hand with their corporate strategy, which was called Vision 2005, Focus and Value. The primary objective of this was to focus the company on growth opportunities. And to do this, they had to make acquisitions. But in these acquisitions, they had very little experience, so that was a challenge. The second challenge was the transition would be complex. So for this Vision 2005 to take place, they realized that it would be complex, but they needed to do it fast. Another challenge was upgrading the company's information and communication technologies. They had the ICT in the organization that they had before was completely decentralized, and that was a challenge. Decentralized meaning that each business group had its own systems and infrastructure. So example, desktop emails, networks, data centers, application vendors, and employees. This posed a challenge because for this new vision, they needed their ICT organization to be more structured and more flowing. The last challenge that I seen, in this case was the acquisition of Royal Just Brocades. This brought more complexity to the already DSM's diverse array of ICT infrastructures. So even though it was a successful part of the strategy to increase participation in attractive sectors, it just added complicated matters to the ICT infrastructure of DSM. On this slide, I will be discussing the opportunities that DSM executives saw in the year 2000. The first one was they saw an opportunity to expand through acquisitions in sectors where it already had a strong position. They seen this because they didn't want to expand in sectors where they didn't have that experience, where they didn't have that knowledge, and where they didn't have that strong name already built in. So they thought that by building these acquisitions where they already had strong positions, that it would benefit them in their future and also benefit them in their 2005 vision and focus strategy. The next opportunity that they saw was in 2000, where they stood on 4 pillars. These 4 pillars were petrochemical, industrial chemicals, life science products, and performance materials. At this time, they had an opportunity to either build on the past of petrochemicals or invest in the future with their life science products. And even though the petrochemical industry was at the right time booming, they decided that they could build on their life science products and performance materials because the petrochemical industries would have had them to tie them in with Europe, and they weren't really in a good ties with Europe at that time. The next opportunity and the last opportunity that I seen in this case was that the new appointed corporate CIO, Joe van den Hanenberg, was hired for DSM. He was in charge with building the capabilities and standardizing the ICT infrastructure, hopefully in hopes to bring consistency and to decentralize it. They saw this because They needed to take the ICT infrastructure that they already have and bring consistency to it and to undecentralize it because it wasn't working the way it was already. The opportunity of having Joe Van Dan Hannenberg on their team was that he had very, very good experience with already things like research, IT, technology, and purchasing. And this experience came with key players like Philips. And also an opportunity with him was that he had an extensive background of education. He had his master's degree in electrical engineering and as well as his MBA in informatics. And this brought a huge, huge opportunity to the table for DSM.
My name is Chris, and next I will talk about the opportunities and challenges faced by Joe Van den Hannenberg. Since Hannenberg took over as CIO for DSM in 2000, he was faced with many challenges that needed to be overcome in order to see the company be successful. Although there were many challenges, Hannenberg was familiar with such challenges and also had many opportunities. One of the biggest challenges faced by Hannenberg was the fact that DSM planned to completely change its portfolio through divestitures and acquisitions. The biggest struggle of doing so for Hannenberg was majorly overhauling the information and communication technology so that demands of the new company acquisitions, as well as the company's business strategy, could be achieved. DSM needed to increase its ability to disentangle the acquired businesses from their original companies and integrate them into DSM at the same time. Hannenberg was in charge of these operations, and the capabilities had to be built extremely fast. DSM's ICT was completely decentralized, which was inefficient and didn't help when building the new capabilities. Each business group had its own systems and infrastructure, which led to no standardization across the company. With the rapid transformation of the company and such an unorganized ICT system, Hannenberg was faced with a tremendous situation to overcome with many obstacles and challenges in the way. The three elements to the new strategy were set out relatively clearly. One is global standardization of ICT. Two was the transformation of the ICT organization into a business-oriented management organization. And three is all ICT investment projects had to be approved by ICT's government support. Although Hannenberg was faced with many challenges, there were also many opportunities present. The launch of Vision 2005 was a great starting point for Hannenberg. The new program's main focus was on growth and leveraging opportunities, which Hannenberg seemed confident in doing. One of the biggest assets to Hannenberg taking over was his education and background. Before DSM, Hannenberg was vice president and a board member at Philips Business Electronics, and prior to that he had many different positions at Philips including research, IT, technology, and purchasing. He also received a bachelor's and master's degree in electrical engineering and an MBA in informatics. With a background in such areas and his 24 years as an executive at Philips Electronics, Hannenberg was well experienced in such an environment that DSM required, and he had high amounts of knowledge in large company acquisitions and divestiture activity, as was the way DSM was going. As mentioned previously as challenges, the ICT strategy that Hannenberg developed three elements for the new ICT system, and while they may be a challenge in the sense of implementation, there was opportunity for major success if the system worked as planned. Hannenberg, having a solid concept and understanding of what to do, offered him many opportunities as CIO. Having the understanding that ICT is a majorly important first step in the new development process put him ahead, as opposed to finding out afterwards. Being proactive instead of reactive was a major step in the right direction.
In 2000, the information and communications technology at Royal DSM was decentralized and controls resided with each business site. There was no standardized technology infrastructure across departments and business groups. ICT was basically a technical organization with highly skilled people, and its focus was to fix technical problems. DSM needed was a different kind of ICT, which could deal with tremendous complexities and changes in the organization. On his arrival in 2002, Van den Hannenberg developed an ICT strategy focused on three important concepts. First was global standardization of ICT infrastructure and enterprise model. Second was transformation from purely technical organization to a business-oriented management organization with service delivery. And the last was how ICT activities would be identified, justified, and paid for. ICT helped in implementing media and corporate strategy through intranet, email, and technical information. Some other benefits included were operational simplification and efficiency, better cost structure understanding, and improved profitability. Vision 2005 was completed as a huge success. Large number of operational excellence projects and cost efficiency measures clearly contributed to the higher profitability levels both in 2004 and 2005. DSM achieved stronger progress throughout the organization and laid a solid foundation for further value creating growth. Net sales were up by almost 5% and operating profit of £808 million was the highest DSM has ever achieved. ITC had capabilities to support any new business acquisitions or sales through reconceptualizing its existing architecture. The Vision 2010 strategy is built on the company's track record of portfolio transformation and focus on life sciences and material sciences. Its main goals are market-driven growth and innovation, operational excellence, value creation, and increased presence in emerging economies. Then Hindenburg should position IT in such a way that helps drive the company into a superior competitive position by enabling new and unprecedented levels of service. IT function shouldn't be only support services. Instead, IT strategy should lead the company to a remarkable growth. He should use innovation as one of the building blocks for Vision 2010. He should arrange additional funding, marketing alliances, and R&D collaborations to step up innovation efforts. IT functions should play a central role in realizing cost reductions, increasing the efficiency of organization, improving product quality, and enhancing the value pricing of products and services. IT should be able to respond to new customer demands in a timely manner. They should maintain and support corporate ICTs affiliates and transform them into a global organization and improve local services to meet increased demand. IT should also provide assistance to the company in exploring important emerging domains such as personalized nutrition, biomedical materials, specialty packaging, and industrial biotechnology. Standardized ICT and ERP systems would improve management processes control while at the same time realizing cost reductions. DSM should build digitalized platform to allow management to focus on what is changing in the marketplace and customer needs. To extend and deepen DSM's customer base, special attention should be paid to the implementation of several e-business initiatives. DSM should further define its existing e-business application and should investigate the latest techniques and developments in the field of radio frequency, CRM, and Salesforce automation. Van den Hindenburg was successful in his 2005 strategy, so he should continue his approach of what he calls the IT greenhouse for innovation. In a greenhouse, first an IT system backbone is set up on which you can place new startups. With all these capabilities and functions, IT will serve as an asset instead of a liability.
In conclusion, we've looked at the challenges and opportunities facing senior executives at DSM, such as their well-established base businesses and their decentralized ICT. We've looked at what challenges and opportunities the newly hired CIO faced at the same time, such as the rapidly changing nature of DSM and the launch of Vision 2010. Then we looked at how the CIO positioned IT as a strategic asset and organized and governed the IT function. We also gave some recommendations for continuing this strategy, such as continued standardization and adjustments for technology trends. We hope you've enjoyed our presentation today. Thanks for listening.